Hello, you are listening to the Natural Healing Show for UK Health Radio. I'm your host, Catherine Carrigan, medical intuitive healer and Amazon #1 best-selling author. You can find out more about me and my work at catherinecarrigan.com and unlimitedenergynow.com. While you're there, definitely sign up for my newsletter so you can learn even more about how you can heal yourself naturally. Now, our guest today is Nathalie Botros. Nathalie is a psychotherapist, a certified health coach, and a happiness coach, which is what we're going to be talking with her about today. And you can find out more about Nathalie Botros and her wonderful work at her website, thebonvivantgirl.com. Welcome, Nathalie Botros.
Hello, Catherine. I'm so happy to be here.
I know, of course you are. You're a happiness coach.
Yes. If I'm not happy, there's something wrong.
Yes. Now, what is the Bon-Vivant girl philosophy? Tell us your story about how you came to do what you do.
Okay. So I spend my life, like everyone, chasing something. I always thought that, maybe the job will bring me happiness, or the boyfriend, or I don't know, the city where I was living, or the body. And every time that I would get that, and I was like, okay, wait a second, there's still something missing in my life. So I really spent a lot of time, I really lost a lot of time of my life chasing something. And at the end, I noticed that I was chasing happiness. And I thought that the happiness will be attached to something or someone. It could be anything, like any purchases, but I noticed with time that was like another loss of my time. The happiness come within you. So the Bon-Vivant girl, basically, it's living life fully, enjoying everything you do in life and saying yes to everything and being just happy. And believe me, up to point where I came to this point, I really did yo-yos. I tried diets. I tried moving from city to city, even if I crossed the Atlantic. But when you get it, it's amazing because at the end, you understand that you own your happiness. It's within you. And you're the only one who can decide what is going to make you happy. And it's not going to be, believe me, the clothes, the body, the partner, the job, the city. It's going to be you, only you. And voila, so this is the Bon-Vivant girl, and this is how I became a happiness coach, helping people to do that, to live that.
That is really, really great information. Now, can you give us your definition of happiness? Because different people have different definitions. What's your definition?
I think the definition of happiness is when you wake up, you just want to smile. It's really, even if you had a bad day, it's the fact that when you wake up, you can learn how to be grateful and find something exciting about your day. So you just smile. It can be a small thing. It can be, I don't know. For me, for example, this morning was this interview with you. It made me smile. Find just one reason to smile, then you can start being happy. And it's happiness, really.
Okay. Now, as we all know, as a collective human race, we've been living through the coronavirus pandemic. And one of the things that I talk about here at the Natural Healing Show is that environment is the most powerful factor. And I give the example of my beautiful orchids that you can see at my website, catherinecarrigan.com. So you could take the most beautiful orchid, put it in the dark and not water it, and it would not thrive. And so a lot of our well-being happens from the environment all around us. How can we, this is a big question, but how can we find happiness even during the COVID pandemic?
Well, again, it's finding something positive about your daily life. It's true that we all went through this big adjustment, especially at the very beginning, almost 2 years ago. I cannot believe that it was 2 years ago. We were like just stuck home and didn't know what to do. I started like thinking, okay, what can I do stuck at home? And I know that some people enjoyed and you took the moment, like the opportunity to be creative. Some people took the opportunity to just not do anything and sit in front of TV and eat. And we all did, like, we all coped in different ways. But I think my philosophy of the Bon-Vivant girl, or like how I help my clients, it was, again, it's like, okay, this is the situation. We cannot change the situation. There's no way that we can change it. So you have two options. Either you're going to complain all day long, or you're going to try to find something that makes you happy during this day. And what I did, for example, one of the things I was talking with my sister, and I was missing her. She was in New York too. I was stuck in New York, but we were scared to even leave home because like the corner people were dying. We didn't know what it was, coronavirus, basically. So we will like do our video chat, but instead of doing our drinking, we will work out together. We will like do, okay, let's do this, I don't know, today let's start with 20 squats. And we will do it together. And you, as you know, when you work out, you have all those happiness hormones releasing. So it was sharing something, not feeling alone, and at the same time releasing our happiness, the dopamine. So it was amazing. So I found little things to make me happy. Some people I know that they discovered their family. I have a lot of friends and clients who were like, during the pandemic, I discovered my family because like we never had time to be together. So really finding the positive in your life instead of always looking for the negative. Instead of saying, I'm stuck with my family, say, wow, maybe it's a good time to meet them, really meet them and spend time with them.
Do you think that everyone can find happiness? Because we all know there's some people who are happier than others, and some people tend to be down in the dumps more often.
Yeah, but it's like everyone can find happiness, but with everything that is good in life, you have to work for it. I don't wake up every morning. I wasn't born happy. You know what I mean? It's like you have to work. And of course, you're going to have some days where you're not going to feel that joy and that happiness, but you keep working for it, like everything good in life. So yes, everybody can find happiness, but you have to just work for it.
Now, what would you say? Many of my clients, for example, have experienced childhood abuse or trauma. And even if they can't remember what happened to them, their nervous systems are basically stuck in the sympathetic side. They're stuck in this stress. So what would you say to someone who has experienced childhood trauma and who is struggling to try and find happiness in their everyday lives? How would you recommend that person go about that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I think first of all it's horrible. And I know that a lot of people live childhood trauma and maybe they don't remember at the beginning, and a little thing can trigger this out. What I advise to everyone is to use the writing technique. Write about it. Even if you don't remember the event, write about the feeling that you have, the experience. But what I want is that you write it down very raw with all the emotions. If you want to put, curses in it, because nobody's going to read this besides you. Write it down. And once that it's written, read it again out loud for yourself. If you want to cry, cry. If you want to laugh, laugh. Once it's done, tear it into pieces or burn it and throw it away. And repeat this process several times, because writing down, it will help you to be your own therapist, basically, because you're letting out all those feelings that you have inside that maybe you're scared to tell to anyone, or like you don't want to share, you're kind of embarrassed to share. So it's the best way to get all this out. And you will feel that this feeling inside is gonna, like get lighter and lighter, and you're gonna feel happier. Because holding on to things, it's really, really heavy with time. It gets heavier and heavier. I always say, like the glass of water theory, if I hold this for a minute, it's okay. But let's see if I hold this for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, this is going to be so heavy, it's going to be unbearable. So really write down and let it out.
Great advice. And that I recommend something similar to my clients, in that I say, write down your story about the hard things that have happened to you.
Yeah.
And then read it, and then notice any places when you tell your story to yourself that it pulls up negative emotions.
Of course.
And then rewrite the story again. And the criteria is it has to be true, but write it from a point of view of wisdom, of what you learned from the experience, or how you became stronger, so that you can start telling the stories to yourself about what happened in a way that you're creating positive body chemistry.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Now, Nathalie Botros, in my work as a medical intuitive healer, one of the things that I look at is archetypes. So what is an archetype? An archetype is a sub-personality in yourself, some of which serve you and some of which don't serve you. So for example, we all have a victim. So when people tell stories from their victim point of view, they talk about how bad everything is and how miserable they feel. My question to you is, what is the archetype that we can all find in ourselves that's a happy person?
Well, I mean, you said the victim. I think I don't see it as a victim. I see it as a survivor, because if I was a victim, I would be dead. So I'm alive. So I'm a survivor. Let's say that, yes, we've been through a lot of trauma, a lot of bad experiences, but look at yourself today. You're here, you're alive. So I guess you're a survivor, not a victim. And being a survivor, it's the best thing to feel happy.
Yes. And how do you think we can find the happy person inside of ourselves?
So it's a lot of work. And I know that it's always easy to feel sorry for ourselves. But I think the minute that we understand that we have the control of our lives, for example, again, what I was telling about COVID, we cannot control what's happening to us, but we can control our reaction to that situation. So the minute that we'll understand that we have the control to our happiness is the minute that we will be free of all those negative thoughts and feelings, and we can start working on ourselves. And I always give this like fun exercise to my clients. I tell them everything that it's kind of similar to your writing exercise. I say, think about something negative. Let's say your body image. You think that you're short, but I say, change this and put it in a positive way. Instead of saying I'm short, you can say that I have a very good excuse to wear always heels, or like, I don't know, you say, everybody, I feel timid. It's my bad moment. Okay, let's turn it to timid into positive. You're mysterious. So that's the positive take. Let's take an action of your life, like I really tried to make work this relationship and it failed. Well, I don't see it as a failure. I see it as a lesson. So I learned what I shouldn't do in my next relationship, a good lesson, and I can do it in a better way. So you can always, of course, for everything, you can always find the negative side, but try to find the positive side, and that will help you to find happiness.
Great advice. Now, can you give us some of the tools or pointers that you preach to your clients to find happiness?
Well, this is the turn everything negative to positive is one. I call it like, the light switch, like turn on the positive light on everything. Mm-hmm. And I think another very important aspect of being happy is to love and accept yourself and your body. And we have tendency to always put ourselves down. We have always tendency. If I ask my clients, whenever I ask them, describe me who you are, they always use negative adjectives, or, like they never say something positive. So we have to switch that mind about ourselves and gain this confidence. And this, how you can get it? You can get it with your mirror exercises. about your body and your personality, just standing in front of the mirror. If it's your body issue, for example, I want you to be naked. And I know that we all have difficulties sometimes. And look at the mirror and try to find at least one thing that you like about your body. And it doesn't need to be your stomach that you're complaining first, but it can be your shoulder, your eye, your hair, whatever. Once that you like that, the second day, do again, and then find another one. It's not going to be easy, I'm telling you, but with time, you will look at yourself, you say, damn, I'm looking good. So you really like yourself and you feel better about yourself. So that's like one of the biggest exercises that I do with my clients. And the other one will be, again, doing your affirmations again in front of the mirror. I don't want you to sit like at a chair, in front of the mirror, look at yourself and say, I'm fearless, I'm amazing, I'm great. So that will really, really, really help.
Great advice. Great advice. Now, Nathalie, I love that you talk about it, your definition of happiness is to live life fully. So what does it mean to live life fully in your view?
It's to say yes to everything. And, you know, sometimes we're so scared to say yes because we love to stay in our comfort zone. Of course, it's comfy. It's like, you know, we're protected. But the minute that we say yes, we open up possibilities. And when we open up, who tells you that your happiness is not outside your regular daily life? So when we say yes, if someone calls you and says, let's go have a drink, say yes. Don't say I'm tired. I'm you know, like I had a long day. On the contrary, if you're going to stay home, you're not going to do anything productive. Go out, enjoy life. So say yes.
Now, I have to ask you, can you share with us what country you were born in and how maybe the country that you were born in helped you understand happiness better?
Yeah. Okay. So I am from all around the world. I'm born in Lebanon. I was raised in Turkey until the age of 10. And then my parents sent me to boarding school in Switzerland, where I worked. I studied and then I worked a little bit. And then one day I said, you know what? I'm bored. I'm bored about, it's like where I started my search of happiness. I was like, okay, I was working at a bank. I had the psychotherapist diploma, but I was working at a bank because I started to work as a human resources as I finished my studies very young. And yeah, I was at the bank. And then I was like, okay, so now what? Like, I'm in Switzerland. I work at this bank. I have everything and I need something more. So I left everything. I moved to Milan, to Italy. And I said, I want to learn the language. And I learned the language down the street with people. And I said, I'm in Milan. Let me do fashion. So that was like Milan. And then after that, Milan was too small for me. So I crossed the Atlantic and I came to United States. So this is like all the places I've been. So my coaching techniques actually takes a little bit from all these cultures.
That's fabulous. So how have your international travels helped you understand happiness from a deeper perspective?
I think it's, you know, in Europe, what I saw the difference between the United States and Europe is that in the United States, we always want to work. When I was working here, I would like, if I will take a break for lunch, I will be yelled at. They will be like, are you working half time? I'm like, are you kidding me? In Switzerland, I was working at one of the biggest banks. We will have an hour break every day. Like, you enjoy life. So when you come back, you're happy to go back to work. So it's, again, all about enjoying life. Even like eating in the US, eating should be, you know, get more food for your value. I don't care about that. It's like about sharing. I'm Mediterranean, basically, Middle Eastern Mediterranean. My biggest pleasure is to eat with friends and share a meal and share the food. So when you share the food, you eat less and you eat different stuff and you just enjoy better life. And then actually, it's the best way to lose weight. instead of, like sitting in front of TV by yourself, eating your bowl of pasta or your bowl of food that's not a happy food for you.
So you brought up an interesting question, a comment about the work ethic in the United States. Do you think Europeans have more understanding about what it means to be happy?
I think they have, it's a cultural thing, really. I mean, I really did both. And in the US, I used to work at offices and I wasn't happy. In Europe, when I worked at offices, I was happy because I will always have my happy time. And it wasn't like, it was, of course, about being productive, but being productive doesn't mean working like a crazy person nonstop and not taking breaks. It's like you have to take care of yourself. Self-care is very important. And don't forget, you spend most of your life at work. So if you're not happy at work, you're not happy.
Great observation. Great. If you're not happy at work, you're not happy. And so many people, there's a lot of statistics here in the US. I think 4.5 million people quit their jobs in November. So
I know.
A lot of people are reevaluating everything.
I think the fact that another like positive aspect of coronavirus is that people understood that there's something else than going to, like the commute and going to work and then being stuck at work all day long and like not being happy in a job that doesn't fulfill them.
Now, people talk about choosing happiness and making an inner choice to be happy. In your view, as a happiness coach, what does it mean to make a choice to be happy?
It's again seeing things positively, not ignoring the negativity, seeing the negativity, understanding, hugging it, and telling it goodbye, and choosing positivity, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right. So choosing the positive. So in my work as a medical intuitive healer, I actually have long lists when I'm working with people who are trying to figure out how to be happier. And a lot of times I'll find, what are the top 5 things that you need in your life to be happy right now? So, and one of the things that I talk about at different phases of our life, you want different things. So when you're 18 years old, what you need or want to be happy might be different from when you're 40 years old or when you're 65 years old. So how do you think our priorities for happiness change as we age?
I think at the end of the day, it doesn't change really. Maybe it's because like, as we always attach it to the wrong things. I mean, maybe a young girl, her happiness will be to find a husband or like, to find a partner or to get to the great school. But being happy, it's not getting in a great school. Being happy, it's again, an inside job. So I don't think it will really change. The being happy should be always the same thing. Being happy when you look at yourself in that mirror of who you are and what you represent, and being grateful about that person. So that's being happy. Because like I mean, with ages, I see with my niece, like for example, she's 21 and she says, oh, I'm not happy. I have a lot of classes. I'm like, well, if you don't have classes, you're going to get bored and you're still not going to be happy. She goes, oh yeah, that's right. So I said, sweetie, you have to be happy within you. It's like all this, it's different, because I said, when you're going to get a bit older, you're not going to be happy because you're going to go to work. And then after that, maybe you're not going to be happy because you have to cook dinner for your family if you don't want to work, So there's always like a way. It's not the external factors, it's really the internal factors. And with age, maybe you earn some wisdom, although I have a lot of clients who still know, but they still think that if they lose the weight or they find a partner, they're going to be happy. I'm like, no, that's not going to help you.
Right. You make the internal change and then the external changes.
Exactly. And then the external change will come anyway. The minute that you stop attaching it, the external change will be cherries on top of this happy life that you have. I mean, when I moved to United States, I gained in less than a year more than 40 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
And I became obsessed with diets. And I thought that if I lose the weight, I will be happy. I like really did all the crazy diets. I mean, like everyone, I always did some diets here and there, but I was like obsessed. I will like inject myself with pregnancy hormones. I will like really, I did everything. And then one day I'm like, wait a second, like this is not going to change me. I said, stop a minute and stop focusing on what you're eating and all those diets. Start focusing on yourself. And actually, it was really the day that the Bon-Vivant girl was born, because like I stopped, looked at myself in the mirror. I did my mirror exercise where I started loving every piece of my body. And then I was happy with myself. I stopped crying in front of, my closet and saying I have nothing to wear. And then when I went out, people will ask me, did you lose weight? I'm like, no, I just gained confidence. That's the whole difference, So that's like the whole attitude, how it changes, because like we emit this energy. If you emit that you don't feel good, people are going to feel that. So feel good with yourself. It's why I keep saying love and accept yourself and your body, because you're going to emit and nobody will dare saying anything else. And you will attract all the good people around you.
That is so great. So, in yoga, there's a philosophy or a concept called santosha, which is just contentment. And in yoga philosophy, they say the more that you cultivate this feeling of contentment, the more actually open you are to change. So how does feeling content within ourselves help us feel secure through life changes?
Yeah, it's really this energy when we really, you have to feel it. And maybe at the beginning you can start trying to fake it, but you have to really feel it, because when you feel it, the aura around you and the energy will be so bright. So nobody will see your body imperfections, that I'm sure like you don't have that many, it's just in your head, let's be honest. Nobody will see your shortcomings for anything. People will just see your energy and you will be just happier. So do that.
That's wonderful. Now, Nathalie Botros, happiness coach, if you had just one word to find happiness, what would it be?
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. I always say, what do you have to lose? Say yes. Say yes to life. Say yes to everything, to new possibilities. Keep yourself open-minded. Say yes. Don't be scared, because being scared will make you live in a limited life. You have to say yes to be open and to discover. And I'm sure that when you say yes, good things will come to you.
Great advice. Now you're trying to create a movement to spread happiness. Can you explain that?
So as you can see, I love smiling. and I know that smiling can bring you happiness. Actually, there has been a study that they say that you cannot have two primal emotions at the same time in your life. So your brain cannot accept you. So if you have, for example, fear and happiness, you cannot, if the fear is bigger, so you're going to live a limited life. So smiling will push you to be happy. So when you push that, everything will move away and you'll be happier. So my movement it's to choose at least one person every day and try to put a smile on their face. It can be by paying them a compliment. It takes a few seconds, or spending time with them, or helping them, like a little gesture, and ask them to do the same to another person. Actually, with my boyfriend, it's our joke, say, okay, one done, but like check. It's really, really, really an easy movement. And I want to like spread smiles and happiness around the world.
And what a wonderful way to change the world, right?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Now, you are also an author. tell us about your book. What is the name of your book and where can people find it?
So my book, it's for my ladies who don't like what they see in the mirror. And before telling the book, the book is If You Are What You Eat, Should I Eat a Skinny Girl? And it's tips of finding happiness without losing the appetite for life. But I wrote this book when I was telling you I gained all this weight and I started to focus on myself. So this book really, it's not a diet book. It's really a self-love book. It will teach you to love yourself step by step. It will help you to first grieve about the weight that you gain or you have, because you have to go through that process to say goodbye to your weight. And then once you accept it, you will love it. You will love all of your curves with your exercises. There are a lot of exercises. And it teaches you to eat happy foods. And believe me, happy foods doesn't mean kale or, like food that you don't like. It's really food that you like, but that likes you back, that makes you feel good. For example, almonds, it's very good for everyone. I mean, everyone loves it for your health, but me, almonds, I have to eat them not too much because it's not a happy food for me. You know what I mean? So it's like really discover. So it will help you to discover that it explains how to keep your food mood journal, not only food journal, but mood too. And it gives you little tips about life. It's filled with anecdotes of my life. It's very funny, you'll see. And it's really a self-love book, basically.
I just love that. And, here on the Natural Healing Show, one of my favorite guests was a gentleman who had really struggled with his health, his weight and his health for decades. And it was finally, he just gave up all the diets and did exactly what you talked about. It was really working on his spiritual relationship with himself. And that's what helped him to find his ideal size. So,
amazing.
Yes. So you talked about how you came to the US, you gained 40 pounds. No woman likes gaining 40 pounds. So what was it inside of yourself that made you realize that this is an inner game, not about a diet plan or an exercise plan?
It was really after dedicating my life to those diets, and then like with every diet I will lose a little bit and then gain everything back. So at the end I said enough, and I said, Nathalie, you're a psychotherapist, use your your mind. So I really took the holistic approach and took care of myself, and it worked. And actually I lost all the weight, and it's life. This is like a couple of years ago. I gained back maybe 20 pounds. But the thing is, I'm so confident and I'm so in love with myself that when I ask my friends, I'm like, do you think I gained weight? They're like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't see anything. I'm like, well, my pants show me that I did. But how I look now, I think I look the best in my life because like I'm happy, I'm radiant, I'm spreading the confidence and self-love. So even if you gain weight, it's okay. It's about the self-love. And it's really about accepting and being healthy and happy. And being healthy, it's not being skinny, being healthy and happy. It's really being healthy and enjoying life.
Oh, and I just really appreciate your point of view on this. I had a client who was a psychotherapist, supposedly helping people with eating disorders. And she had a terrible eating disorder that she was unable to tackle. And one thing that's true is that we can only take people as far as we've taken ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So if we don't hold the energy inside ourselves of health and happiness, we can't help other people be healthy and happy. And I really appreciate what you said. And I'm 62, like every other woman throughout my life. I've tried all different kind of diets. And I can remember as a young woman, like sitting on the bench, eating my lunch, and it was a tiny little yogurt, and just being exhausted and miserable. And I know for myself, I actually had eating disorders twice in my life. Once when I was 15, and again in my early 30s. And I remember praying to God and saying, why do I have to go through this? And I heard very clearly, because you're supposed to help other people get over this. And now at age 62, I'm the same size that I was when I was 28. And the reason I know that is I have dresses that I owned when I was 28 that I can still wear comfortably. And one of the I really totally agree with you that it is about self-love and self-acceptance. And one of the things that I did was I stopped weighing myself. And
that's a good
because
one.
you can tell, like you said, if you put on your pants and they're a little snug, it's like, right? And, if you ate too much last night, So what I notice is that when people weigh themselves and they say, I am, and then they put a number. Well, I'm so much more than a number. You are so much more than a number.
Of course. And then you have to stop letting the clothes wear you. You're not supposed to fit the clothes. The clothes supposed to fit you. Actually, I just ordered all these dresses, and I ordered them all in large. Some of the large ones are too big on me. Some of the large ones are too small on me. So how can you explain that? I'm not a large, I'm not a medium. It really depends. I'm not a small. On some of them, I should get small or extra small. So it doesn't mean anything. And we don't walk around with our weight on our foreheads. We walk around with our smiles.
Absolutely. We walk around with our smiles. I totally agree. And, I also have to tell this story since we're talking about the inside job of weight loss and feeling good about your body. I had a client within the past year, and she was struggling with her weight. And I said, okay, I'm going to give you an assignment. And I want you to go to a store, and I want you to find a good salesperson, somebody who is kind and compassionate. And I want you to get 4 outfits. And I specifically said outfits because sometimes you buy a top and then you come home and you go, what do I wear this with? Or you buy a pair of pants. It's like, what do I wear this?
Yeah.
An outfit is like the whole thing, the top, the bottom, the scarf, the jewelry. And anyway, I'm like, all right, I want you to spend the money and get 4 outfits. Well, she found a store with a really super nice salesperson who helped her feel beautiful. And it's about feeling good and feeling beautiful and radiating your best self. And just by buying the outfits, she lost 20 pounds because so many people are like, well, I'm going to wait. And
it's true. But there's another thing too. You were saying that you will fit in your clothes when you were 28. I actually advise my clients to get rid of those because I said it attaches you, you have that pressure from your old clothes. If you're far from them, get rid of them. Don't be, it's amazing for you that you fit, but let it go. Let it go and don't be attached to that. That was you when you were younger. Maybe now your body is different. Maybe your body has more of love, there's more of you to love. So it's okay.
It is okay. Yeah. I remember at one point, one of my friends from London came over and we went through my closet because I'd had, and I had hot pants, which are short shorts. And, we just had a big laugh. It's like, you know what? At my age, you really shouldn't be wearing those. And so but the point is you want to feel good about how you look. And by taking care of the outside, by finding the colors that look best on you, as a medical intuitive, I'll find your power color and your sexy color. And when you know the colors that really help you to radiate your inner being, then you feel better and you feel happy naturally, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's really, and I say you gain weight, get 1 black pants and then get colorful tops. And as you said, go and find a salesperson who can help you to get dressed well. So, by saying well, I mean, outfits that suit you, because maybe there are some cuts that are not for good for you, where you don't feel confident. But there's one thing that you shouldn't do. It's trying to hide. I used to when I had a little belly, I used to always try to not, I don't know, a sweater or something. But actually you attract attention to that. This is for your physical body too. I had this girlfriend who had a very big nose, but she will always walk around hiding her face. And everybody was like, what's happening? And it will point out to her insecurity, her flaw, as she will call. But if she hadn't done that, nobody will notice.
Yes.
Don't point it out, you know,
Yes.
actually put it on their face. So they're like, okay, she likes it. And they, you know, like it's all about the vision. If you put on their face your nose that you don't feel very proud about, they're going to say, well, actually, it's a very interesting nose, you know, it changes the whole thing.
So Nathalie Botros, I'd like to go back to your wonderful book, If You Are What You Eat, Should I Eat a Skinny Girl? I love that title. It's so funny. So many of us really struggle to be happy with our bodies. How can we go about becoming happy with our body, no matter what we look like, no matter what we weigh?
It's really loving the image that we see in the mirror. And I know that when we gain weight, or like we always compare ourselves to those magazines. And I mean, we do it, it's human, but you know, you have to say, okay, this person has a great body, but maybe this person hasn't had my personality. Or like, and I'm gonna tell you, when I used to live in Milan, I was friends with a lot of models. They will be actually jealous of my body parts, if you can imagine, because like they will have like the, you know, like the body, this and that. They will say, oh, I wish I had your skin. Oh, I wish I had your hair. So every woman have insecurities. So why don't we stop our insecurities and love what we have, work with what we have? And again, my exercise with the mirror and looking at yourself and loving every inch of your body will really help you to be happy with yourself. And when you get dressed, you'll see a beautiful, confident woman. And you won't see someone who has a little bit here, a little bit there, you know, like, oh, I should. No, you see the beautiful woman that you are.
So that's great advice. And let's go back to a practical exercise. So if somebody's listening to this broadcast and they're wanting to have a better relationship with our body, you talk about this mirror exercise. How long should we spend in front of the mirror? Do we have to be naked?
Yes, we have to be naked. We have to be naked. We have to do it every day. And you have to stand in front of that mirror until you find one thing about your body. And again, maybe it's not your legs to start with. It can be even like your shoulder or your fingernail, but at least one thing every day. And keep going until you love every bit of your body. You know, it's like you're like, actually at the end, because like you start seeing the beautiful woman that you see in the mirror, you see. And let's say I'm not very tall and I've never had like skinny legs. I always had like some meat in my legs. So for me, the legs will be the last part to like. But when I start looking at everything and I'm like, oh, actually, my legs are not that bad, you know, like you start, because like it starts like the energy of positivity starts flowing around and you will really start loving everything that you have and you see.
Okay, so we need to stand in front of our mirror, start naked, and really notice what we appreciate and like about ourselves, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, so Nathalie Botros, this Bon-Vivant girl that you are, you truly radiate happiness. How can taking the time to find our own happiness help other people around us feel happy?
Oh, well, we can always use the smile forward movement and start really to spread happiness instead of negativity and bad vibes. So that will be really a good thing. And as I say, it's in the smile forward movement, it's spend time with others, give some love to others, pay compliments. You know, it doesn't cost you anything. And for example, if I always make sure to pay a compliment whenever I see a friend, just a little compliment. It will make her day or his day. And what did it cost me? 3 seconds of my life? It's okay, you know, it's like spread the positivity around you.
That's just such a beautiful message. So Nathalie Botros, the Bon-Vivant girl and happiness coach, any final thoughts for our audience?
Well, stop listening to all these judgmental noises inside and internal and external. You are beautiful. Love the person that you are. Look at the mirror and look really at the person that you are inside and out, and accept and love yourself.
That's such a beautiful message. And one of the things that we know is that when you're happy, your vibration is higher. And when your vibration is higher, you're less susceptible to disease and illness.
Exactly. Very true. And, instead of staying home, be social. Seriously, I don't think staying home is going to resolve any of your problems. Now that we're out of, quarantine, enjoy. Don't say, I'm tired, I had a rough day. Say, I need a change. I need to change and go out, get some fresh air and be social too.
You've been listening to the Natural Healing Show for UK Health Radio. I'm your host, Catherine Carrigan, medical intuitive healer and Amazon #1 bestselling author. You can find out more about me and my work at catherinecarrigan.com and unlimitedenergynow.com. While you're there, definitely sign up for my newsletter so you can learn even more about how you can heal yourself naturally. Our guest today has been Nathalie Botros, psychotherapist, author, holistic health coach, and happiness coach. And you can find out more about Nathalie Botros and her wonderful work at her website, thebonvivantgirl.com. Thank you so much for listening. And when you take the time to be healthy and happy, you're going to feel better naturally. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.